Civilizations appear as towering monuments of leadership, innovation, and culture, but the truth is often invisible. While kings, emperors, and presidents claim attention in history books, the reality of success and failure lies not in the hands of individuals, but in the invisible systems beneath them. Civilizations rise and fall not because of one person's brilliance or folly, but because complex networks of food, water, energy, trade, and trust align, or fail to align, across generations. These systems quietly dictate who thrives and who collapses, yet few notice them until the moment of failure. Food systems, for example, are the lifeblood of every civilization. Ancient societies relied on predictable agricultural cycles, soil fertility, and water management to sustain populations. When these systems failed, famine followed swiftly, destabilizing societies even if political leadership remained competent. The Sumerians, the Maya, and the Indus Valley civilization all fell in part due to the fragility of their agricultural networks. Each developed elaborate infrastructure, canals, terraces, reservoirs, but all relied on ongoing maintenance, social cohesion, and favorable climate conditions. When these variables shifted, collapse unfolded not as a sudden event, but as a gradual erosion of stability. Energy is another invisible force shaping civilization. From firewood and grain to coal and electricity, the ability to convert resources into usable energy underpins every aspect of society. Ancient empires burned forests, harnessed water, or relied on human labor to power systems. Modern civilization, though vastly more advanced, depends on fossil fuels, electricity grids, and complex supply chains. A disruption in energy flow, whether caused by environmental crisis, infrastructure failure, or geopolitical conflict, can trigger cascading failures across food, water, health, and information networks. History shows that civilizations that mismanage energy systems rarely recover their full former scale. Trade networks silently determine survival. The ability to exchange resources, ideas, and technologies allows societies to thrive beyond local limits. When trade breaks down, local surpluses become irrelevant, and scarcity can rapidly destabilize populations. The collapse of the Bronze Age civilizations demonstrates this vividly. Interconnected Mediterranean economies fell into disarray when key trade nodes failed. Modern globalization amplifies this principle. Even a minor disruption in shipping, semiconductor production, or logistics can ripple through multiple continents. These invisible flows often escape notice until they grind to a halt, revealing just how dependent civilizations are on them. Information is another invisible architecture of survival. Societies depend on accurate knowledge for coordination, adaptation, and decision-making. Ancient civilizations codified laws, religious norms, and astronomical knowledge to transmit critical information across generations. In modern societies, information flows through digital networks, media, and bureaucracies. When information becomes distorted, slow, or inaccessible, systems begin to fail. Misinformation, censorship, and overcomplexity all reduce resilience, just as a collapsed archive could doom an ancient society. The alignment of knowledge with action determines whether a civilization endures or falters. Trust is perhaps the most subtle, yet most powerful system of all. Humans are social beings, and civilizations rely on networks of cooperation. Ancient empires depended on trust in governance, markets, religion, and military command. When trust eroded through corruption, inequality, or failed promises, social cohesion weakened, and systemic collapse accelerated. Modern societies, though more complex, are no different. Trust underpins economies, institutions, and global cooperation. When it falters, even the most advanced technologies cannot prevent systemic breakdown. The interaction of these systems, food, energy, trade, information, and trust, creates a delicate balance. Each system amplifies or mitigates the vulnerabilities of the others. When aligned, civilizations flourish. When misaligned, small shocks propagate into cascading crises. Ancient Rome, for example, suffered repeated crises of grain distribution, energy shortages in timber and mining, trade disruptions from barbarian invasions, and loss of social cohesion. Each of these alone may have been manageable. Together, they became existential threats. Modern civilization mirrors this dynamic on a planetary scale. Leadership, while often credited with historical outcomes, is rarely the decisive factor. Leaders can guide, amplify, or slow systems, but they cannot fully control them. The collapse of the Maya, or the Akkadian Empire, occurred despite capable rulers who took steps to prevent decline. Conversely, periods of great achievement occurred not because of one leader alone, but because systems aligned favorably over time. Civilization is the product of multiple interdependent layers operating across decades and centuries, far beyond the influence of any single individual. Environmental stability underlies all invisible systems. Climatic shifts, droughts, floods, temperature changes interact with agriculture, energy, and trade. Societies that fail to anticipate or adapt to environmental stress often experience rapid destabilization. Historical examples abound. Prolonged droughts undermined Mayan city-states, while shifting river courses contributed to the decline of Mesopotamian cities. Today, global climate change presents similar systemic pressures, revealing that even advanced technology cannot insulate a civilization from environmental forces. Emergent phenomena further complicate systems. Civilizations are not simple machines. They are networks of agents, each with varying incentives and behaviors. Supply chains, economies, and social norms interact unpredictably. Minor perturbations can cascade into systemic crises, a principle known in modern theory as emergent collapse. Ancient societies experienced these dynamics even without formal modeling, often interpreting the consequences as divine wrath or fate. Modern societies, though more analytical, remain vulnerable because complexity conceals risk until it becomes visible. Perhaps the most sobering aspect of these invisible systems is their continuity. They are rarely designed to be consciously maintained. They are evolved, distributed, and often taken for granted. Civilizations survive when these systems function without interruption. They fail when dependencies accumulate faster than understanding. Knowledge of these systems must be transmitted across generations. Yet human memory is selective, often preserving myths and monuments rather than practical coordination mechanisms. In essence, civilizations thrive not because they are advanced or morally superior, but because invisible systems, food, energy, trade, information, trust, cohere over time. They fall when these systems misalign. Success is fragile, imperceptible, and systemic. Collapse is rarely dramatic, and often invisible until its consequences become undeniable. History, from Sumer to Rome, illustrates that these principles are universal, transcending culture, geography, and era. Recognizing this truth reframes how we view modern society. Our technology, knowledge, and institutions are extraordinary, but they are embedded in the same invisible structures that have always determined survival. Our food, energy, trade, information, and trust networks are interconnected, complex, and delicate. Disruption in any layer can propagate globally, yet most of the population remains unaware of these dependencies. Civilization is not built on confidence or intent. It is built on alignment. And alignment is fragile. This understanding is not meant to provoke fear, but clarity. Civilization is not controlled by kings, presidents, or corporations alone. It is shaped by the quiet systems we inherit, maintain, and sometimes neglect. To thrive, societies must study, reinforce, and adapt these systems continuously. To fail is not a moral judgment. It is a structural consequence. Invisible systems decide who thrives and who falls. Recognizing their existence, understanding their fragility, and respecting their interdependence may be the greatest lesson any civilization can learn. History, once again, reminds us that the true determinants of survival are hidden, silent, and systemic. Those who ignore them do so at their own peril. Subscribe to this channel for more. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a story lost to time.